Well, for more on this, I'm now joined by campaigner and author of Food Bank Britain, Ray Wolford. Ray, food insecurity, do we have to put this in context? Because people will find it very difficult to believe that there are children in this country, one of the leading economies of the world, going to bed hungry each night.
I think one of the first things we've got to put to bed is the government's response to this scandal. What the government's just said, they're putting more money into the system and people are actually better off. Esther McVey just recently admitted that thousands and thousands of people under universal credit are going to be £2,600 a year worse off. That's the government saying that, not me. And so the reality is for most people is that they're on zero-hour contracts, rents have gone up, welfare payments of course are going up, councils are paying huge sums of money for B&B, hostels, hotel accommodation. But for real people working, struggling, many with 2 or 3 jobs, they are actually never had it so bad.
OK, they're having it bad, but are they prioritising their finances? Is there more of a parental responsibility here, guardian responsibility, rather than the government at fault because children are hungry?
The problem we have at the moment is we have a system where the government accepts the fact that we have children who are hungry, which is why we get free school dinners. But during the school holidays, there's no provision whatsoever. And so many parents who are the least able to find themselves having the choice between having to pay high childcare costs, which is very, very high in most cities these days, or taking time off work, which pushes them further into poverty. So the problem is it's not about parents making decisions whether they eat or heat or feed their children. It's the fact that most and more people these days find themselves in such a precarious financial position that they don't have the money to buy the food. It's like, do we pay the rent? Do we pay the electricity?
What sort of food are we talking about? We're seeing these price wars in supermarkets at the moment, where obviously it looks as if healthy food is affordable more so than junk food that parents seem to be buying or children seem to be buying.
They say that, but again, that's a misdemeanor. In most areas of the UK, particularly in the big cities at the moment, you can buy chicken and chips for 99p. A healthy Swede, tomatoes, whatever, you can get them relatively cheaply in some the cheaper supermarkets and the local market, which is still the best place to buy fruit and veg. But the problem is with universal credit, people are going for weeks and weeks without any money at all. So it's not a matter of budgeting. If you have no money, you have no money to budget. And one of the big aspects to this, which is being missed at the moment, is many people working have standing orders and direct debits. You and I, every month, would be paying standing orders, direct debits. The problem is that if you stop people having any money for 5 weeks or beyond, it means that all of those standing orders and direct debits start to bounce. That incurs charges which the poorest don't have the money to pay, and you're pushing people further into debt. So by the time they have their first universal credit, which is going to be a lot less money than they're expecting, they would be paying back the loan sharks, the high interest, premium interest rates that poor people pay, and everything else that they're having to pay. So the crisis is not just about food, but it's poverty generally. And as you know, I've been arguing long that we need a minister for poverty, not just for hunger, but poverty to address all the issues.
Well, of course, we've been reporting the problems of the rollout of course, universal credit. But does the problem extend beyond those who are not affected by universal credit as such? Because the DWP, the Department of Work and Pensions, says that household incomes have never been higher.
Well, they keep saying it's never been higher, but of course, rents have gone up dramatically. One of the big scandals in our housing problem at the moment is that councils are forced to sell off houses. If they didn't have to sell off those houses, they would have rents, which could be funding frontline services. You have rents have gone through the roof. It's extraordinary that if you're a buy-to-let landlord, your interest rates have been almost zero for 10 years, and yet the property value that you own has almost doubled, more so in places like London, and you've been allowed to increase your rent by 100% or more. And so the people that are actually doing well out of this are landlords, loan sharks, and the people who are actually paying for this are those who are least able to. And then, of course, we're all affected by it, because if we have to put people in hostels or cheap, expensive housing, then we all pay through taxation. Bad health means we pay through the NHS. So we're all affected by it. And we all see every day now on our streets endless numbers of people that could be you and I living in doorways, and that is a scandal. And we are the 5th, 6th richest economy on the planet.
Ray Wolford, thank you very much indeed. Good to hear your thoughts on this live on RT UK.